When an avoidant person suddenly becomes quiet, replies slowly, or pulls back after moments of closeness, it's easy to assume they're drifting away. But often, that withdrawal doesn't mean they've stopped loving you, it means they're beginning to feel too much. For them, love isn't gentle. It awakens fears of being controlled, hurt, or losing their freedom. And when those emotions surface, they don't run because they don't care, but because their heart is opening more than they know how to handle. Avoidants often appear calm, independent, and self-sufficient when you first meet them. Yet behind that composure is someone who learned early on that vulnerability is dangerous. To them, love means losing control. So when they genuinely start caring about you, their emotional system sounds the alarm. They pull back not because you did something wrong, but because intimacy triggers their deepest fears. The moment you feel them slipping away may actually be the moment they're fighting the hardest not to disappear. When an avoidant begins showing small signs of emotional discomfort, fewer messages, more silence, a need for space, don't assume their feelings have faded. It's their defense system activating because their emotions for you have grown deeper. Their heart wants to stay, but their mind urges them to run before they get hurt. If you respond with panic, pursuit, or pressure, they retreat further. But if you remain calm and don't take their distance personally, you give them something rare, a sense of safety and love. As an avoidant starts to shift internally, their withdrawal becomes different. Not cold or dismissive, but tinged with anxiety and softness. They look at you longer before turning away, open up briefly only to close again just as fast. These moments of closeness mixed with silence can be confusing, but they are signs of growth. They're learning to sit with their feelings instead of escaping them. And if you walk away too soon, you may miss the rare chance to witness true intimacy forming within them. When an avoidant begins to trust you, they reveal parts of themselves they once hid. Fears, awkwardness, and quiet forms of affection. They won't give grand declarations, but you'll see longer glances, gentle gestures, or glimpses into their past. This isn't a test, it's them allowing themselves to be human with you. The shift you're looking for isn't dramatic, but in the way they resist the urge to run and choose connection, even inconsistently. When an avoidant truly begins to change, you'll notice subtle movements within them. They pause before disappearing like before, or text after a period of silence. For someone who used distance as protection, even saying, "I just needed time to think," is significant progress. They're learning to communicate instead of vanishing in fear. This is when they start rewriting their love story. And if you respond with steadiness rather than blame, they begin to feel that love is no longer dangerous. Still, this doesn't mean you should accept endless emotional absence. Understanding them is different from enabling them. When you see real effort and glimpses of their vulnerability, it's a sign they're opening the door to a kind of intimacy they once ran from. When an avoidant person truly begins to change, you may notice them watching you more closely. They observe how you react when they go quiet, how calmly you hold yourself, and how you don't pressure or blame them. Your consistency and gentleness give them something they've never really had, a sense of safety and love. Slowly, they start to associate closeness with peace rather than fear. Love is no longer a threat, it becomes a place they want to return to. Even though these changes aren't loud or obvious, they're deeply real. They don't suddenly become romantic or expressive, but they begin to reach out more, ask more questions, or simply stop running like before. They choose to stay, not because they are fully ready, but because with you they feel safe enough to try. This is the moment love begins to take root in them. The pivotal moment in an avoidant person's journey is when they start paying attention to your feelings. Someone who once dodged every deep conversation now asks how you're doing, apologizes after a cold reaction, or simply stays instead of withdrawing. These small actions are acts of courage for them. They don't say, "I love you," often, but their willingness to show up is how they express affection. Loving an avoidant person requires patience and understanding, because their love language often arrives as silence, distance, or awkwardness. But once you learn to see what lies behind those behaviors, everything becomes clear. They retreat out of fear, not indifference. When you don't punish them for needing space, you show them something they've never truly experienced, that love can coexist with freedom. And it's in that moment that they begin to change. If you've witnessed the trembling pull and push of an avoidant person, when they want to stay yet fear being hurt, understand that you're seeing something sacred. It's the moment they begin breaking a lifelong pattern, the belief that love equals danger. They don't need you to fix them or drag them close. They need you to stay steady, calm, and free of pressure. When you can hold that strength and kindness, you show them what their heart has always doubted. That love isn't always constricting. Sometimes it's spacious and gentle. But this change only lasts when both people grow. You cannot hold space forever for someone who refuses to step forward. They must meet you halfway, where empathy and boundaries coexist. When they open up, respond with presence, not expectation. Because eventually, they'll discover an important truth. Real intimacy doesn't take freedom away, it expands it. When an avoidant person truly begins to love, their transformation isn't loud, but it's unmistakable. They still need space, but no longer use it to escape you, rather to keep balance for themselves and the relationship. They slowly become more proactive, texting first, asking about your day, or showing care through small but genuine gestures. This is how they love, not with intensity, but with steady, deliberate steps. When they love in their own way, you'll realize you don't love them for their potential, but for the peace you help them discover within themselves. If you see them torn between fear and the desire to stay, don't mistake it for indifference. It's the moment they're fighting their strongest instinct, running away from love. And if you can remain calm, gentle, yet firm with your boundaries, you'll witness a rare kind of love. A love born from courage, not just emotion. The love of an avoidant person is not like the romantic stories in movies. It rarely comes with grand declarations or intense pursuit. Instead, it shows up through small steps, hesitation, and quiet effort. When they begin to open up, they start associating closeness with safety rather than fear. They aren't trying to perform to keep you. They're genuinely learning how to love, how to stay instead of flee. Their expressions may be awkward or inconsistent, but they are deeply sincere. The moment you see them wavering between pulling away and wanting to remain is the moment love is forming within them. Slowly, delicately, yet profoundly. They love the way someone loves when they've never believed love could be safe. And when they dare to stay even while fear still shakes them, it's a sign you're witnessing a rare kind of love. Love brave enough to exist. Sometimes, when an avoidant person finally starts loving you, that love won't arrive in fireworks or movie-like romance. It will appear through slow steps, hesitation, and small but genuine attempts. They will love with trembling, learning to stay even while fear is still loud inside them. And it is this slowness that makes the love more real than ever, because they're not performing, not exaggerating. They're learning to love for the first time in a safe way. When you see them standing between fear and connection, it isn't indifference. It is the greatest battle they've ever faced. Can they dare to believe that love can stay? If you are calm enough, loving enough, yet firm with your boundaries, you'll witness something beautiful forming. A kind of love that dares to exist through fear. And in that moment, you'll know this is a love worth keeping.